right, thanks for tuning in once again. It's Ishmael Sistrunk with St. Louis American and STLAmerican.com. Here with Palmer Alexander III, our Rams Roundup columnist. Palmer, this week was a rough one. We both picked the Rams to beat the Jets. In the video last week, we had some issues getting it up. We both picked them. We were both proven horribly wrong, miserably wrong. The Rams lost 27-13 to the New York Jets. Coming into this game, Mark Sanchez was all but kicked out of town. He was almost run out of New York. Rex Ryan was almost run out of New York. Everybody was talking about Tim Tebow may start. The quarterback was horrible. Sanchez was couldn't do no right. But they came in and got a victory, and it was a pretty easy victory against the Rams. What happened?
Yeah, I think what happened was not only did the Rams fail to execute, but I questioned the game planning, and I questioned it from the very beginning of the game. The Rams opening drive, they're running the ball efficiently. Nice balance between pass and run. Pretty much having complete control of the New York Jets. And then they just get away from it. I know this team is young. We all know this team is young. But you have a veteran coaching staff. And the coaches have to do a better job of preparing these guys to play. They have to have a better scheme. And I believe that not only, I really strongly believe this game in particular, the coaches failed the Rams. They failed them horribly, especially Jeff Fisher.
Now, what do you think that Jeff Fisher and the coaching staff was thinking? Steven Jackson was running the ball very well. He was very effective. And then in the second half, he didn't get the ball. He got 2 carries in the third quarter, which I believe were 7 yards apiece. And then he got the ball once in the fourth quarter, and that was it.
Yeah, and see, that's the thing I don't understand. I mean, the Jets were ranked 30th in the league against the run, and Steven Jackson was running the ball effectively, moving them backwards, running with a lot of desire. He was very difficult to bring down in the contest when they decided to give him the ball. Why they deviated from that, I don't know. It just doesn't make sense. And I'm not gonna, like I said, you can put only so much on these players. A lot of these guys are young, but I mean, the coaching staff. I mean, again, that was my issue with Schottenheimer before he became the Rams offensive coordinator. Can he call a consistent game? You can't start off a game with a 13-play, 5-minute drive, and then all of a sudden you just decide to throw the ball. And who are you throwing the ball to?
Right.
It just, I don't get it, man. I just don't get it.
What do you think? Like, what was the rationale behind it? Do you think he just got caught up in the game? Do you think he was trying to outsmart his former team? What was the reason? Because, like you said, it seemed like the Rams were running the ball well. It seemed like their defense wasn't handling it well. So to stop running, I don't know why.
Well, that's the thing that got Schottenheimer ran out of New York, because of his ability to call games. That's negligent play calling. It's very negligent. It's almost like Josh McDaniels is the coordinator again.
Right, yeah. 13 carries, like I said, 81 yards. Well, if you say you like 50 passing attempts, you must have loved this game. Just ran for that, 44 passing attempts, only 23 completions on the other end. For the Jets, Sanchez, I believe, was 15.
75%.
Total. He's not that accurate guy that you expect to be 15 out of 20.
No way. And I mean, coming to the game, he had a completion percentage rate of 52.2%. So, ding, light goes off in the 3 Rams victories they've had. You know why they had? Because they harassed the quarterback. They blitzed the quarterback. They cursed the quarterback. I mean, they made the quarterback life miserable. And he looked too comfortable in the pocket. And again, you question, okay, what did the Rams do to really prepare for this game? It seemed like they prepared better for a divisional game than they do against a non-divisional opponent.
Yeah, and one thing that was troubling, just going back one last time to the non-rushing game, but even in I think it was the first quarter, when the Rams got their first touchdown, the pass to Brandon Gibson, they were in the red zone, and they didn't run it at all. They were like on the 5-yard line. Steven Jackson never got it. Daryl Richardson never got it. They threw passes. Now they got the fourth down touchdown reception, but I'm like, Steven Jackson run the ball well. Why don't you give him a go?
Yeah, exactly.
Motivate.
Absolutely. That's a great point. And like I said, I don't understand these. Schottenheimer just had these brain farts in the red zone, and it's very troubling because we have seen this team move the ball between the 20s, and I think the Rams have this mental block. I think that happens when they get in that 20. And Jeff Fisher mentioned that, but you got to stop talking. Look, there's 6 games left in this season. I think the expectation level is a little higher, obviously because they got off to a great start. But I mean, what I saw in this past game was just totally unacceptable. On defense, for example, the Rams, went with a 4-man front. The Rams run a lot of nickel. Okay, so that's you got your 4 defensive linemen, you got your 3 linebackers, and then you got your 5 guys in the back. Okay. So instead of having them in your standard line where everybody's lined up together, they had their guys spaced out. So you got 4 guys spaced out in the line of scrimmage. So you got gaps. You got A gap, B gap, and C gap. And then you begging Sean Green to run. And so what the Jets do? They run the ball. It's common sense. It's common sense. I mean, why would you go with a 3-man front in the red zone? I mean, red zone situation, you call for your goal line defense. They go with a 3-man front, run that nickel stack. And what happens? They end up getting burned. Craig Dahl, I'm not picking him, but he's just a bad player. Again, one situation, the Rams got him playing the center field to bring Quentin Michaels up. Well, if you that safety, that means they playing 0 coverage or cover 1. So therefore, that safety has to hold his spot on the field. But when the ball is hiked, he immediately takes off to his left. And what does Sanchez does? Well, he just goes to the weak side of the field. You can't do that as when you that last line of defense out there as a safety, you got to hold your spot. The Rams didn't do a good enough job. Now, the only bright side was Janoris Jenkins. I mean, he blocked the punt and he knocked down a couple of passes, but just horrible. I mean, Larry is in a funk right now. He's in a funk, and it may be the scheme that they're using. The Rams are no good in that zone. They awful at it because they don't have the personnel to do it.
Now, one of your other favorite players, besides Craig Dahl, and then this goes back to the other, Brandon Gibson, 2 touchdown receptions.
I thought you were going to say Lance Kendrick's my player of the week last week. Hey, look, Brandon Gibson, 2 touchdown passes. Listen, I'm glad he caught the ball. I'm glad he hung onto the ball. Where's Brian Quick? And again, we talking about coaching. I mean, you put Tremaine Johnson out there, he's getting scorched. But you won't put Brian Quick out there. I just don't understand that. Where's the logic in that? I mean, it's not making any sense. I mean, teams are adjusting to the Rams. Chris Gibbons, they know that's their deep threat. Who's the other deep threat? Was Brian Quick? It's obviously Brian Quick. But they're not going to put him out there for whatever reason it be. And I'm very agitated. Well, I'm giving it to Steven Jackson. I thought Steven Jackson ran the ball well. When they decided to give him the ball, he averaged over 5 yards a carry. And if you keep feeding the beast, he's going to come through for you. So he's my offensive player of the game.
What about on the defensive side of football?
Well, on the defensive side of football, I'm going to give it to Janoris Jenkins. Janoris Jenkins has been getting picked on the last couple of weeks. He had a strong game. Again, he knocked down a couple of passes, and they stopped going at him. They started picking on Tremaine Johnson. He had the block kick on special teams, so I'm giving it to Janoris Jenkins this week.
All right, for my intangibles player, I was going to pick Janoris Jenkins. You done took him away from me now, so I'm trying to think of an adequate replacement. I guess it'll have to be Brandon Gibson. Like I said, he's been up and down this season.
You are a kind man.
2 touchdown catches, man. He earned that. I can't be kind on that one. He earned that. 2 touchdowns. That's putting those points on the board. That's what counts.
Yeah, you know, but if it was a tie game, he would have dropped the ball. You know it and I know he would have dropped the ball. And the reason why I can't pick them to win is, one, too many mental mistakes. Had a kickoff return negated. I mean, you know, when penalties take points off the board, that's a problem. They make too many mental errors. Number 2, the coaching staff. I don't trust them anymore to call a competent game. And number 3, you know, they can't do the simple things like tackle and decide which hold to, you know, that they need to be going up through. James Laurinaitis again. I mean, guessing the wrong gaps. The Rams' running game has been awful. The Rams have been awful against the run last 3 weeks. So, and you know, we've seen what they've done on offense. So I can't consciously pick them to win. I just can't. I may not pick them to win again.
Well, I'm gonna go out on a limb. I'm gonna say they're gonna win. The Cardinals really don't impress me too much. Their quarterback play is kind of up in the air right now. Larry Fitzgerald, of course, he's a playmaker, but they're having trouble getting him the ball. I think he got like 11 targets last week and 1 or 2 catches, if that. I have to believe that the coaching staff have learned from these mistakes with running the ball, and I think they're going to go back to giving the ball to Steven Jackson. He still does have fresh legs, so if they lean on him, I think they really have a good chance, even though they're out of town, even though they're not playing very well.
Right. I really thought that the Rams would be able to beat the Jets handily, and they lost. And I don't trust the coaching staff right now. I'm not saying that they should get rid of them, but I'm just saying right now I don't trust them to stick with the game plan. Formulate a game plan and then stick to the game plan. I mean, they have to show me something for me to pick them again.
Once again, I'm Ishmael Sistrunk with the St. Louis American and STLamerican.com. Palmer Alexander III. Where can people reach out to you?
Hey, you can reach out to me and talk sports on Facebook, and tune in to WGNU this Sunday. I'll be on James Ingram show talking more about the Rams and the great job we're doing as the St. Louis American. And then they got me booked again on December 9th, so I'm making the rounds. I'm making the rounds.
Thanks for tuning in. Happy Thanksgiving.